Morning, guys. My name is Eric Daugherty. We're here at the Local 4 Training Center in Fairfield, New Jersey. Bricklayers and Allied Craftsworkers, and you guys have been through the pre-job training, and now we're going to talk a little bit about grout placement, okay, and the requirements thereof. All right, there's some different things that we got to talk about that are very crucial to placing the grout inside the wall. It might not seem as simple as you guys think that it is. There's some key factors that we need to always take in mind. That way the inspectors on the job can pass our walls and we don't have any problems. So today we're going to talk about low lift grouting. All right, as you can see on the screen here, 5'4" is the maximum height that you can do low lift grout. Typically we're going to do it in 5-foot lifts, okay? And there's low lift grouting and there's high lift grouting. All right, so today we're going to demonstrate some low lift grouting, and these are going to be some of the tools that we're going to be using here. All right, we have ourselves concrete vibrator. All right, electrical. So we're going to be using this to consolidate the grout. All right. Typically you'd be mixing, or the laborers would be mixing on site with a paddle mixer, okay, whether it's electric or gas, depending on the area that you're going to be working in, whether it's inside of a building or if you're building new construction, typically we have gas mixers outside, okay. But today we're going to be using a drill with a paddle to mix with, right? And which also means, since it's electric, we're going to have electric cords. All right, so some safety factors are involved here with the electric cords. You're going to want to have to check all these electric cords, make sure that there's no frays, no splices in them, okay? You got everything looking nice in here. This one doesn't look like it's been used before, so it's brand new. I got my proper ground, okay? I know a lot of guys like to break these off. We can't use them on the site, all right? Can anyone tell me what this is? Or what it's used for? Okay, so I'm going to tell you here today, this is for the slump test. Okay, now we're going to take our paddle mixer, we're going to mix up some material, some grout, all right? We're going to take the scoop out of the bucket. We got to make sure that we have all our proper PPE on, all right? Glasses, gloves, hard hat, work boots with steel toe, okay, as OSHA 30 requires. And then we're going to get back to this. We're going to scoop out the grout. We're going to pour it in. That way we fill this up, all right. Fill it right up on the ground. Pulling in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nice and slow, and everything will slope out. And then you would take a rod or a level, put it on the top, and where you poured it out, you would measure with your ruler all the way down to the top of the puddle, showing you how much your grout slump would be, okay? Whether it would be an 11, an 8, whatever that number would be on the ruler would be your grout slump, okay? So the greater the number, because from that rod down to the ground, if it was a 12 or an 11, you would have a more fluid grout, okay? So it would flow through everything. If you had a lower number, like a 6 or a 7, it would be more stiff, more solid. It wouldn't have that flow, that flowability, all right? So there's two different types of grout that we can use on the job sites. SCG, self-consolidating grout, or conventional grout. Today we're going to be using conventional grout, okay? Now, is it always required to use a vibrator?
Not always.
Not always? That's good. Okay, because self-consolidating grout will consolidate itself. The only time we're going to use this vibrator is when we have conventional grout, okay? And we're going to want to use the vibrator once on the initial pour, and then twice after 15 minutes, or if there's still plasticity in the grout, if it hasn't hardened yet, okay? So that was good that you remembered that SCG doesn't require a vibrator, okay? So now we're going to take our classroom direction, we're going to take it outside. I'm going to show you how to do everything out in our workshop, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to do it yourselves. Okay guys, We're on to the next section here. We're out in the workshop. Okay, we're outside beautiful Fairfield, New Jersey, local 4. Okay, we got our grout mock-up behind us, right? And we mixed up some of our grout here, all right? And just want to show you here, when you're mixing up grout, if you're going to mix it in a small bucket like this to do any kind of small work where you need to fix something on the job site, you always want to put your foot on the bucket, all right? 2 hands, whether it be up here or up here. Applying pressure on this foot so the bucket doesn't spin. Okay, I've seen too many accidents out there where the bucket spins and you know, the actual handle here catches you in the shin. Okay, so we mix this up for 5 minutes. Mix it up for 5 minutes, let it sit for 2. Mix it up for another 30 seconds, and then you're golden. Okay, we're gonna take this, put it over here in the water. Put this off to the side. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do the slump test. This is the most crucial part here. That way you know you have the right fluidity of the grout that we're going to put inside the wall. Right? If you don't have the right fluidity, the inspector's going to fail you because he's going to do a prism test, okay? Or he's going to test the grout to make sure that we have the proper PSI strength, okay? After the 28 days. Okay, so to do the proper slump test, all right, we're only going to fill up the cone 1/3 of the way and rod it 25 times. Notice I have all the proper PPE on, gloves, safety glasses, Z87 rated, so nothing splashes in my eye, all right, and a hard hat, of course. So we take our scoop, hold the cone down firmly so it doesn't spill, okay? Now rod 25 times to consolidate the grout inside. Okay. Put the rod on the side here. And I'll do the same thing 1/3 of the way and 1/3 of the way to fill it. Striking it off at the top with the rod. That way we get a nice full slump cone. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and fill that up another 1/3 of the way with the cone. A little bit more, not too much. Okay. Now you're going to want to take this rod and only rod what we just filled up 1/3 of the way, a little tiny bit, about 1/8 of the way into what we did before. Okay? 25 times. Good. Rod here. Fill it up the rest of the way. Right up to the top. Keep going. A little bit more. Rod 25 more times. You see how it's going down and everything's consolidating together? Okay. Now you want to strike off the top. Make sure everything's nice and level there. All right. Now let me show you the next step here. What we're going to do, okay, we got this nice and firm on the ground. In 5 + 2 seconds, we're going to pull up on this nice and slowly, and then I'm going to show you how to measure for the proper slump. And in proper slump, you want 8 to 10 inches, or 8 to 11 inches, I'm sorry. Okay? So, very slowly here, I got both hands on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Now you take this cone, put this right here like this, take out our handy ruler, okay? Take this here, put this across the top. Everything's on a nice flat level surface here. All right, and we measure it down. All right. Now you see the bottom of this rod? What's that reading there? About 9 1/4, 9 1/2. Okay. So that tells me that we are perfect with this grout. So we can now take this grout and we can apply it inside the wall. Okay, so we just acquired our slump. All right, we know we now have a 9 1/2 inch slump, which is perfect between 8 to 11. All right, so now we can apply that grout inside the wall. All right, but before we do that, I want to talk about a few key factors here now. All right, we've already placed our rods inside the wall here, right? And something that I want you guys to take into consideration, which you've done, you've put them right in the center, okay? Not against the block wall inside the cell, okay, and not against the face shell. All right. Now there's a reason we do that. Do you guys know why? I'm going to tell you. Okay. With this rod in the middle, it can get a full shell of grout around it, right? If this rod was touching the shell of this block later on down the road, with the weather, with the block always being absorbent with moisture and water, it's always thirsty. Remember that. Block is always thirsty. Okay, this rod is going to deteriorate over time, and you're going to see some rust on the outside of the wall, right? But also, more importantly, there's no structural integrity of the block wall if that rod doesn't have grout fully circumferencing the rod, right? Okay. Another good important thing, we have all of our rebar caps up on top here on the rods that are already grouted and sticking through the wall. Okay, these are impact impale resistant rods. Okay, there's two types of caps. One's a mushroom cap, one's impact resistant cap. This one is the proper one to use. All right, you're only supposed to use these one time. See these fins? If these fins get broke inside, right, you gotta throw them away. All right, that's what OSHA says. So we'll put this on the side. Another thing that we need to keep in mind with OSHA, okay, and ergonomics. These are our grout fronts. I don't know what they use in the rest of the country, but these we use a lot in New Jersey. All right, very easy. We can scoop inside of a box, and then we can scoop it and pour it inside of the wall. Very much more ergonomical on our backs. That way we don't hurt our backs, because without our backs, let's be honest, we're not going to be doing this work. Okay. A lot of guys like to use a bucket because it goes a little bit faster. So today we will be using the buckets. I'm going to show you how to do it here. We're going to bend at our knees. Okay. Pick up the bucket. Pour it right inside the wall. All right. Now, I would fill this all the way up, leaving it halfway. You guys know what that's called? We'll leave it halfway on top of the block. It's called a grout key. Okay. You always want to leave it halfway. That way, when you go to the next lift, when this wall gets extended up another 7 courses, all right, 5'4" maximum, like we learned in the classroom. That way this grout can go back into this key and fill up the shell. If we fill it right to the top, like this wall is done here, this would only be done on like a parapet or a wall that was finished. You would fill it to the top. You always want to leave a grout key. That way you have the structural integrity of the wall. If you fill it right to the top, this is a good breaking point, or a shear point, like they would call it. All right? So I would fill this up, then I would come over here. I would take our vibrator, okay? Insert the vibrator, turn it on, vibrate it, just for a couple seconds, because remember, a lot of times you just built a wall 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, and all these joints, they're still fresh. If you put this grout vibrator inside the wall and just turn it on and stand there with it, you're going to blow out all the grout, you're going to blow out all these joints, and you're going to have a big mess with it. All right, so now I want you guys to take this grout, fill up this wall, and we're going to show how we're going to use this vibrator here. So remember ergonomics. We don't want to hurt our backs. Okay. Take the next one. See how everything's filling up real nice. Okay. This is a great demonstration on how grout works inside of a wall. lot of times, all the time, unless you have plexiglass like we do here at Local 4, you can't see what's happening inside the wall. All right. So let's take that vibrator. We're going to turn it on. Okay. Just want to insert it all the way down, and back up. And that's it. Okay. That's your consolidation. That vibrator. All right. If you have one time, and then in 15 minutes, as long as we still have plasticity in the grout, we're going to come back and we're going to hit it again. If the grout has lost plasticity, because like I said before, masonry is always absorbent of water, right? It's always thirsty. The masonry right now is absorbing all this water that was inside of this grout. Okay? So in 15 minutes, we might come back. We have a really, really sunny, hot day today. It's very humid here in New Jersey. Okay? This might be done and completely hard in 15 minutes because the grout sets up very fast. Okay? The only time we wouldn't use that vibrator would be when? With the self-consolidating grout, right? Okay. A lot of these contractors, they won't buy that because it's a lot more money, but it takes out that process, which I know on a lot of jobs, a lot of people don't do this the correct way, and that's why I'm here to teach you guys to do it the correct way. That way we're employable, okay? And we do stuff the right way, that way we can get back on new jobs, and we get more money for doing it the right way, okay? Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you for coming out today. You guys did a great job out there, all right? You guys showed me that you're very responsible in the fact that you wore all your PPE, you kept it on during the whole demonstration, okay? That means to me that you're employable, okay? You had your gloves, your hard hat, and your glasses, all right? Because as we know and as we've seen, that grouting can be a very messy business, all right? Especially with the vibrator, all right? Once you put that vibrator inside the wall, you're going to want to see that it's going to want to tend to bubble up and spray everywhere, okay? So we're going to have to keep that in mind, that you always have to keep your glasses on, because you don't want any cement or grout inside your eyes, all right? Also, today, I hope you guys take away that there's two types of grout, SCG and conventional grout, okay? A lot of times we will be using the conventional grout on the job sites, all right? But it's all spelled out inside the blueprints in the specs, right? So we don't make that decision ourselves. The engineers make that decision for us, all right? And us as the people putting the material inside the wall, we do what our employer says, all right? On top of that, all right, is there any questions?
No questions.
No questions?
No questions. I think everything went pretty smooth.
Yes.
Everything went pretty smooth?
Yes.
Okay. Just know that not everything's going to go as smooth as it did out here today, because this was just a demonstration, all right? There's always a lot of things happening out on the job sites, right? All right, there could be cranes, there could be machinery, there could be a lot of people, there could be pedestrians, okay? So we want to make sure that we do it in the safest manner as possible, okay? All right, so whether that means setting up controlled access zones, okay? Making sure you're not walking underneath the crane when they're having a swinging load, all right? But most of that we covered in our OSHA 30 that we did before, all right? So with that being said, you guys are now grout certified, okay? I want you to take what you learned today, go outside, all right, and apply it to the wall, all right, and do it in a safe, timely manner, all right? And just remember what we learned today. When we're doing low lift grouting, all right, with conventional grout, we have to consolidate it with the vibrator, all right? And you always want to leave that shear key, okay, halfway down on one of these blocks, okay? You don't want to fill it up to the top unless it's at the top of the parapet or the finishing of a wall, okay? So we always want to fill it up when we're grouting in a 5'4" lifts, all right? Halfway up so that we don't have a bond breaker, okay? If you fill it up to the top and then you go to grout again, you have a bond breaker, all right? So I think that that's a very crucial part in this, all right? And also something that I didn't talk about, which I'd like to just touch on, okay? If you have a single bond beam over the top of a door, okay, you don't need a vibrator for that. You can self-consolidate with a trowel or a little piece of rebar, okay? You can do that up to 12 inches, they say, all right? So with that being said, thank you for coming out today. It's been my pleasure to teach you and instruct you in how to grouting a masonry wall with a conventional grout and the use of a vibrator for the consolidation. Thank you, guys.